Good good evening, everyone. I am Nisha joining you from Dubai. A very warm welcome to the very first episode of Authors Corner, another brainchild of Asian Literary Society. Thank you, Manoj Krishnan, for providing this platform to budding and established writers to share their journey and publishing experiences. In these sessions, we'll also be listening to the author's favorite poetry from their books. And the Authors Corner's mission is to promote authors in various genres from different Asian countries. As we make our debut on this forum, it is my absolute pleasure to welcome a very dear friend and a writer par excellence,
Thank you
Sonal.
so much. Thank you so much.
Most welcome, Sonal. And Sonal, like any other writer, I think she calls her poetry, she writes from the soul, the voice of her soul. I think I resonate with those thoughts. And she has made her debut in the poetry world with a bang. She
Oh my
established her
God.
first book of poetry, which received an award soon after. Well, not too many cats out of the bag so soon. Sonal, over to you. How does it feel? The response has been overwhelming.
Yeah, thank you so much, Nisha. First of all, thank you, Asian Literary Society and Manojji, for this wonderful, wonderful platform. I've been a member of ALS for quite some time now, of course, been contributing, interacted with so many people. And I cannot even begin to explain in how many manners this platform has helped me become a better writer. So thank you, first of all, to Asian Literary Society and Manojji for your brainchild. And thank you, Nisha, for welcoming me. Now, as far as the response is concerned, it's been really very good. I mean, I myself am surprised because when I decided to bring out this poetry volume, poetry is not a genre that really sells in India. I mean, it's your friends and family who would possibly buy a book and just praise you, "Acha kiya beta," "Acha likha hai," but
Correct.
it's not something that sells off the off the shelf.
Shells.
So yeah, so
Correct.
that's the reason I decided to go with self-publishing on this one. But honestly, the reviews have been very encouraging, and people whom I do not know, people whom I have no connection with, have picked up the book from Amazon and sent me messages. So I am truly, truly very touched by how well this all has shaped up.
Well, I'm not surprised.
Oh my God.
It should have happened long ago. But I'm glad you actually ventured into this. Now,
Yeah, thank
Sonal,
you.
before we take this conversation forward, Sonal has been very, very generous, and she has a giveaway. So we will be seeing, and she
Yes.
will be revealing the reason and how she will select the person who gets the giveaway. So, Sonal, why don't you just share the details?
Okay, so actually, I'm going to base this giveaway on a question that I have been asked very often since the book came out. And I will be choosing one person to give away my book at the end of the session. So the question is basically, people have come up to me and asked me why the title Islands in the Stream. What is the meaning? What is the logic behind that? So I'd like to hear from the audience what they think of the title, why they think the title is Islands in the Stream, and what it means basically. So
Beautiful,
looking
lovely
forward to
question.
participation.
So what we'll do is we'll keep this open only for the next 15 minutes, because
Yeah.
after
Okay.
that we would like the audience to know from the author herself why she
Okay.
named it Islands in the Stream. So I
Okay.
think, come on guys, buck up and just start. Don't wait. Okay, so the one question that always, I've had it always when I saw Islands in the Stream was, why poetry and not prose? Because you are known for your stories and very unique plots and themes. So why poetry?
Why poetry? Because I am at heart a poet. I mean, I relate more to poetry than I do to prose, very honestly speaking. I was a poet much, much before I became a prose writer. Prose writing is very recent in my life, like 4 years back I started. But
Okay.
poetry is something my mother assures me that even as a child I wrote. And somewhere in her kabad ghar, she still possibly has a little box in which she's kept scraps of paper on which I've jotted something. So
Oh,
कभी
nice.
कभार वो मिल जाता है तो she shows it to me कि नहीं देखो तुम करती थी तब भी
Huh.
But when I decided to get back to writing after, I mean, I left writing a long time back. After marriage, I didn't really write much. And then, matrimony, children, and work happened.
Yes.
So when I decided to get back to it, to follow my passion when my children were old enough, poetry just came naturally. So that was the first thing that came to mind.
But do you forget writing poetry after you took literally a sabbatical from writing? Does it come back naturally because it was always there, or you took some time to get into the
No,
groove?
it is always there, but I did take time to get into the groove. And the reason for that is that although poetry will always come naturally, but the
Yes,
metaphors don't. The
exactly.
kind of, yeah, the kind of expressions we need in poetry, the kind of emotions that we're trying to arouse in the reader via our poetry, those things take time to come back. So when I decided to write poetry again, I went back to the old classics and I read a lot of the old masters and my favorite poets, just to get, because I don't like modern poetry, I like reading classical poetry, and I like free verse, and I like, sonnets and ballads and stuff like that, and a lot of my poetry is reflective of that style. So I went back and read a lot of those books, and after that I understood what I was lacking, and then I gradually kept writing month on month on month. So this book is that culmination.
It's a beautiful book. I have been privy to
Thank you
it. I
so
have
much.
read it, and I think I took a month to read it because it had to all soak in. Like some books you just read through, flip pages. You didn't
Yeah.
feel like flipping pages because there was so
Thank you
much of
so much,
depth in
Nisha.
each poetry.
No, no,
And I
coming from
remember
you, it
writing
means
a
a lot to me. It
no,
means
and
a lot
writing a
coming from
review.
you.
I'm like wondering, I'm going haywire writing the review
No, but
also.
your review was lengthy and it completely touched that corner of my heart, which I think was walled off. And it filled it with love because I was like, this is one person who has read my book and understood everything that I wanted to convey. So
Yes,
thank you
yes.
so much for that.
I didn't want to take a shortcut. Generally, my own poetry books are just kept like that. You don't go through them. But yours was very special, Sonal.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Nisha.
So, Sonal, before we take it forward, would you like to read, maybe three or four lines from one of your favorite poetries?
Yeah, why not? So, anyways, so for those who haven't seen it, this is the book. It's called
Yes,
Irons in the Stream. And there are a few poems here that are my favorite. I'm going to read out a few lines. This is a
yes,
poem called Nights and Days, which is from the first section of the book, which
yes.
is basically nature's rhapsody. So, nights and days. The nights are cast in glitter. They sparkle, glistening with the dust of dreams. Twinkling down at the stridulating cicadas that serenade them, in their opaque splendor, they don the mantle of relative quietude, and lulled by an unsung rhythm, they contentedly sigh. So I like writing
Amazing.
about such stuff. Actually, nature is very alluring for me. So that's the reason more often than not, I tend to write about nature in my works.
Is it also because you travel a lot, so it reflects in your poetry?
Possibly, I'm
Because
a big
nature is
nature
all
lover.
about
I
being
love,
outdoors.
yeah, I love traveling. I love plants, and I love animals. So maybe that is reflective of that. And I think a deep love for it comes from my mother, whose poetry is similar. Plus the
Yes,
fact that I was raised in the defense services, and we moved like every 2 or 3 years. So
correct.
we traveled, and my father has always been, very fond of traveling, and we've done the entire country on road. So that kind of ingrained in me more of a love for nature, I would say. So that
And I
has
must
helped.
also, yeah, and I must also tell the audience that Sonal, her mother Nirmala Singh auntie, and her
Yes.
dad, all three are writers, one in a family, and the daughters are heading towards that. So,
I hope so.
someday, no, no, it's wonderful, Sonal. And
Thank you so much.
I would just like to also welcome the guests who joined us, Bishaka Sarma, Anukrita,
Oh,
Bishaka ma'am,
Vishaka ji.
and
Thank you.
Sheila. So, and Sonal, before we take it forward again, can you just, because I think more people have joined us just now, so just about the giveaway, just once more from you.
Okay, so the giveaway is pretty easy. What I want the people to do is tell me why I named my book Islands in the Stream. Basically, tell me what it means. What does Islands in the Stream mean?
And since we spoke about your book and you said it's about nature, but there's another aspect to it, you also have a second half. So, can you not
Yes.
just tell us what are the two halves about, first half and the second half, and give us a little more
Uh,
insight?
Okay, so my book basically is divided into two parts. The first part is called Nature's Rhapsody, and that has poems that sing odes to nature, night, days, evenings, etc. The second half is called it's called Life's Foibles, and that part basically deals with life, relationships, the emotions that come in it. Because in life there are two things that we need to balance things out. One is the
Correct.
external environment, which I've tried to incorporate in the first half, and the second
Yes.
half is about internalization, about yourself, your reflections and dreams and stuff. So
What
those
a
are the two
beautiful
parts
thought.
of the
I
those are
didn't
the
think
two
it that
parts.
way. Frankly, I didn't think it that way. Now, since you're telling me, it's all about external and the internal aspects in our
Internal.
lives.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Beautiful. And I just want to make a correction. It's Ankurita. It's not Anukrita. I always call
Okay.
her Anukrita. So she asked me to
Okay.
correct her name. Thank you. Okay. Sonal, can you just show the book once again? And we
Yes,
want to talk
absolutely.
about the cover page and the thought behind the cover.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, this is the cover page.
Hmm. So
So,
it's such a beautiful cover page. Who's the
uh,
artist behind it, and what? Why did you choose this?
well, this book is dedicated to my parents, and this cover is actually a painting by my mother. So she's an artist, and she was one of the I think one of the few people in India who long back started in caustic art. So this book is basically a painting in that style. And when I went with the book cover, I was very clear that I wanted one of her paintings as my book cover. So I asked her to send me quite a few, and I expected to receive like three or four, good paintings, snaps of three or four good paintings. And then suddenly my WhatsApp was like kind of chock full, and they were
Flooded.
like, yeah, it was flooded. And I was like, Ma, I don't need so many. I just need something in blue which represents water.
Correct.
Then, but we had a kind of tussle because I was very hell bent on taking this painting as the cover, and I said this represents the soul of the book. And my mother felt that she had done better work, so she thought that maybe
Oh,
I could do with a better painting. But
the true
anyways,
artist that she is, I'm sure she
yeah.
was not happy and satisfied with her
Yeah,
own
so
work.
but anyways, but the end product, I mean, if this is my book's being published by Authors Press, and I think the end product, the kind of color scheme they've brought out in the cover of the book is absolutely fantastic.
Amazing.
I did not think it would be so beautifully, kind of translated into the paper form, but they've done a stupendous job of doing that.
So you are
So,
a happy
yeah,
author
yeah,
finally.
more than me, my mother is very happy.
Okay, so an inspiration behind your poetry. You've written about nature. You have mentioned about the anything in real life. Any people who have been, inspiring you all along. Nature, I think we can understand. Nature,
Yeah.
we look at it differently. But anybody in particular who has inspired you to write on
Uh,
human emotions?
I I actually grew up reading a lot of poetry. So I
Hmm.
grew up reading a lot of William Butler Yeats, Tennyson, Byron, Keats, Walt Whitman, W.H. Auden, and Pablo Neruda. Pablo Neruda is like one of my most favorite poets. So I
Hmm.
grew up reading poetry a lot. I always related more to it than to prose. So
If
I
I'm
would
not
say
wrong,
that
your introductory, this thing is by him with the four liners.
one of them, yeah, yeah, yeah. But the one I
Yes,
dedicate to my parents is, yeah,
yes, yes,
Pablo
yes.
Neruda's poem. Yeah. So I've tried to use, things like that in the book. But yeah, these are the poets that have actually inspired me. I like, as I said, I don't relate much to modern poetic forms. I
Yeah,
find it very confining to work in syllables or any kind of restricted format. I need
true.
free flow. I need free flow. I need free verse.
So
So
you are
these
an
poets
Azad
kind of
Panchi.
embody that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I need
You are
to
an
be
Azad Panchi
that.
who just needs to soar the skies. I
Yeah.
think वो constraints है ना somehow हम लोग we cannot work in those constraints.
We
So
can't. Although I agree, it's important to try
yeah,
and practice that also because they give you clarity about structure and
yeah.
lyrical feel. But ultimately, it's not my style. I practice, but I don't follow it,
Okay.
honestly.
Okay. And anybody in your family who's been a source of inspiration? Like for me, I feel like my younger daughter is the source of inspiration. A lot
Mhm.
of things that I write, maybe it's sadness, maybe it's happiness, achievements, every emotion in my life or everything I've achieved in my life,
Mhm.
somehow I get inspired by her. So
Right.
anybody in your family or anybody in, close to you
I'd say
inspires
my
you?
parents actually, both of them.
Yes.
They're both very distinct personalities. So Ma's very artistic. So I think I get most of my love for poetry and writing and things from her. But as far as my free spirit or my determination is concerned, or even I think my rebellious nature is concerned, I think I
Yes.
get it from my father because I don't give up easily. I don't believe much in competition, but then I believe in setting milestones and then I set time frames to achieve those milestones. So that part I get from him. So a
Okay.
combination of these two things have really driven me in life.
That's wonderful. And you'll be happy to know Nirmala Anchi also has joined.
Oh
Then there is
dear.
Sanam who's joined, Lata Vishwanath, Mani Saxena, and Manoj Krishnan is here,
Oh,
Kanakagiri ma'am
thank
is
you
here.
so much. Thank
So
you for
anything
coming.
you want to say to the audience who's listening to you and read four lines of your poetry?
I am so incredibly touched that there's so many people watching this. What can I say? What more can I say? But
Yes.
okay, fine. I'll read a few lines. This is from the title. The title of the book is like Islands in the Stream. So this poem is also from the second section of my book, and it is titled Islands in the Stream. So, without giving away the real meaning of the particular place, yeah. So I'm going to say we are but islands in the stream, floating in the waters of desire. We are but two souls with a heart, smoldering with a hidden fire. So anything beyond this would give away the meaning. So let me not
Yes.
go there.
It's beautiful. I think, the way you have emoted through even these just two lines, I think people will connect to it instantly.
Possibly.
And there's Grace Sitaraman who has received the book as a prize.
Oh
So she's
yes,
very
yes.
happy. I didn't need to purchase. I have received it as a prize.
Oh, thank you so much, Grace. Thank you for participating in that giveaway.
So the book is reaching across India, and I hope it reaches across the world.
That's been
Soon.
my greatest earning in this, Nisha. That the book has reached people who genuinely enjoy reading poetry.
Yes.
So
Yes.
that has been the greatest earning that I have got out of this entire frustrating experience of bringing
Yes.
out a book in India.
Right. That was my next question. In fact. Now who's the publisher of the book, and how did you zero down on this publishing? Because a lot of new writers are coming up. They would want to know, what are the thoughts behind, zeroing down on a publishing house.
But but the publisher of this book is Authors Press, and the reason I zeroed down on them was there were basically two reasons. Firstly, they have published my mother's works, so Sudarshan K. Cherryji is known to us. And
How
secondly,
nice.
again, I need to thank Asian Literary Society for this, because I have met him twice now at the various ALS functions
Through
that
the
we have in
events.
Delhi, right?
Correct.
So I kind of, he met me. We met whenever we meet. He's like, when are you bringing out your book? And you should send it to us. So when it came to bringing out this book, it was kind of like a natural given thing. Because I
Okay.
knew the publishers, I'd seen the work, and then I knew that ALS was very closely associated with him as well. So there was no second thought about it. And I'm extremely happy with the quality of the book. Like I said, the manner in which they have translated the color scheme into a cover page, it's
Yes.
not too bright, and yet it's not very subtle also. That's
Yeah.
exactly what I wanted. And the paper quality, the print quality of the book, all of those things they're phenomenally good.
How
So
nice.
I've
So
been very happy. Yeah, yeah, yeah. For me, it's been a great experience.
you're a happy poet.
I'm a happy poet. Yes.
Very nice. So, and next question would be promotions. Okay, you have published the book. All of us do the publishing, and then comes the Herculean task of promoting the book.
Promoting the book.
So
Yes.
you just can't keep on giving it away, or probably your friends will support you, the family will support you. We have to look beyond that. How do you manage to promote your book?
I would say promotions, you've got to be relentless. For me, what helped was, very honestly speaking, what helped was that I had a social media presence. So I have my
Yes.
own website. I was doing chat shows, and I was, interviewing people, and plus I was posting regularly on Facebook and different groups. So when it came to newspaper articles or written interviews, those I got approached for. I didn't have to really go out and approach anybody. So
Wonderful.
that was the good part. But yes, I did tie up with a lot of forums and give the book as a giveaway for competitions.
Yes.
Yes, and there were a lot of my friends who have bought the book because I had bought their books, or just because they wanted to support. So
I wanted to do it, so I feel very proud that I did it.
yeah,
Though you would have given me a
exactly.
copy anyways.
Yes, but it feels nice to get that support. So that's helped. So giveaways have helped. The reviews online on Goodreads and Amazon have helped. And the latest thing is that a lot of my friends are doing readings of the poem. Santosh Pakaya ma'am has just done it, today, and I'm so touched by the poem she picked up. So all
Yes.
those kinds of things, they're like baby steps, but in the right direction of marketing and gimmicks and stuff. So that all has kind of helped me.
So before we proceed, I think we have a winner, and I'd like to announce that on your behalf, Sonal. And
Yes,
then I
please.
wanted to reveal the true meaning of the
All
title.
right. Yes.
Okay, so here we have Lata Vishwanath. She says, "This is the answer for the giveaway. Islands in the stream. Stream is the flow, and islands are where inhabits, which includes life's all aspects, emotions, reflections. So I guess you named Islands in the Stream because of the two parts of your book, nature and emotions. So how close is she
Okay.
to your answer?
I would say she's pretty close. Yeah,
Something
she's got the gist right. She's got the
yes,
gist right. I would only phrase it in a different manner. So the
yes, please
reason
do.
why I named my book Islands in the Stream is because if islands exist in flowing waters, so in a river or in the flowing waters of the lapping waters of the sea, islands existed as individual identities. In the same manner, poetry, if you take poetry as one genre, then in a river of poetic emotions, each poem is an individual island in itself because its meaning is different. The kind of
Yes.
emotions it will arouse in a reader is different than what the other poem would arouse. So that's the reason I decided to go with Islands in the Stream. So it was just a metaphor for deeper emotions like I think
So
the
she was
giveaway
quite
there
close
are
to that.
yeah,
She
yeah,
was quite close.
exactly. Yeah, yeah,
So you
exactly.
can congratulate Lata Vishwanath and we'll get
Yes,
in touch with
please.
her.
Lataji, congratulations. It will be my pleasure to give you a copy of this book of mine.
Now, Sonal, we've discussed all this. Now, you've talked about promotion, publishing promotions. Next is maintaining visibility. So, because
Hmm.
there are so many authors who are coming up, and everybody
Hmm.
wants to, share their work with the world. And on the portals, we see so many new authors. So, how do you manage to, maintain that visibility?
The first thing is you need to reach out to people. If you want to market your book, you have to be a people's person. You can't be a
True.
person who is an introvert.
And yes.
Yeah, you cannot because even if you are an introvert, you need to shun that personality and don an extrovert personality. Reach out to people who have bought your book. Reach out to them, tell them via messenger, WhatsApp, whatever the medium be that I would love for you to write a review, even if it's a brief two-line review. Please do leave it on Amazon. Send them links if there is a particular poem or story in your book that they have liked, get them to kind of recite that on media. That helps.
Good
That kind of
idea.
visibility, it helps. Do I would say do giveaways. That again helps because it helps you connect with the audience better. And any writer, any poet, what they look for is this kind of feedback, even if it is not good. It is helping the writer to better their prospects in future because they'll not make the same mistake twice then. So
Yes,
whatever,
true.
yeah. So that is we all try to better ourselves via these promotions. So keep that in mind instead of just getting people to review and say good things about your book.
True. Otherwise,
So
how would you ever improve upon your work? Because we are
how
not
are we ever
perfect,
going to?
Yeah, we have a long way to go, and this is a good way of doing it. So it
Yes,
doesn't end at only promotions, You have to
it
continuously
doesn't.
work and, towards, because it
You
doesn't
have
end
to.
at publishing a book and just promoting it once. So it's a
Yes,
very
it
tough
doesn't.
job.
No, it's like, for example, when I brought out Islands in the Stream, I was very clear that I would not be doing a giveaway on all platforms at once because it does not help my book be visible. It would only be
Correct.
visible for a month or 2 months. So I am
Correct.
trying to, I'm trying to accept invites to chat shows and I'm trying to promote the book via various channels. But then it's a thought out strategy that this is the book for this year. This year, my complete effort will go into promoting this book. So giveaways have to be not more than 2 giveaways in a month, and they have to be
Yes.
on different platforms so that I connect to different readers. It doesn't make sense to do book giveaways on common platforms where the readers are going to be common because the same people will end up they'll end up winning the book again and again.
True.
That
True.
doesn't make sense because what will they can't do too much with so many copies. I mean, one
Yeah,
copy is
I
more than
know.
so yeah.
True.
So that helps. That kind of visibility helps.
So we have a Rose in the audience saying, "Beautiful, best wishes, Sonal. Nice watching your journey."
So much.
Munmun says, "I admire how candid you are about marketing and promotion." See, this is a very
Oh,
important question. A lot of people have those apprehensions, and I'm glad you very transparently you have told them how to go
You
about
have
it.
to be shameless. I'm sure a lot of people have been bitching behind my back also that she's shamelessly asking us to review her book and write, but that's okay. It's fine because it's my book. I There is a milestone I've set for myself. I'm very clear that in the next 4 months, this book needs to establish myself, give me some kind of a foothold as a
Yes.
serious writer, so that next year, God willing, if I bring out another book, that will do slightly better than this.
That was my next question, by the way. What is the next one? I mean, you need to take a break, step back, relax a little, and then rejuvenate and come back. So, anything on your
Ye-
mind right now?
No, actually, I already have a manuscript complete, but that's again a book of short stories that was supposed to come out before Islands in the Stream.
Yes.
But yeah, because I wanted to go the traditional publishing route for that, so that hasn't come out. So God willing, next year maybe, if all goes well, that will come out. And once that comes out, I'm planning to do another poetry book. I would like to kind of balance it out, prose poetry,
Correct.
prose poetry.
It
Yeah.
breaks the monotony, and you will get a little breather also,
Yeah,
because
because
poetic
writing
thoughts are
prose
totally
takes a
different.
lot of time. Yeah, writing prose
Yes.
takes a lot of time. Editing is a pain. So it's easy. I mean, you take like about 2 months to write the stories in a book, but then you take 2 years to edit those
To
stories.
edit the same.
Yeah,
Correct.
it's
Because
really
you're never
bad.
happy with your work. Yeah.
You're never happy. Yeah.
So there's
So those are my
Swapan who
next projects.
says, well said, each poet has an individual island, very impressive and very, very good, sensational
Thank you
answer
so
you
much.
have said. So my next question, I think it's like, the clock is ticking and I'm not liking it, but we have to abide by the time. So my next question is a little very personal question, Sonal,
Okay.
because we all love the way you bring out your poetry in your words. My next question I'm going to read. I'm not going to just say it impromptu.
Okay.
Something about the language and vocabulary used in the book. I feel it caters to a very niche audience. Do you agree with this?
Yeah, I do. Absolutely. I do. Especially the first part of the book. The first
Yes.
part of the book, Nature's Rhapsody, is written in a very different style than the second part of the book. I would say the second part of the book is more colloquial. It's
And more
everyday
relatable.
conversational English. Anybody
Correct.
can understand that. The first part was always intended to be modeled after my favorite poets. So
So it was
that's
a
how yeah,
conscious
yeah, that's
decision to
how
do that.
Keats would write. That's how Yeats would write. So, I love old English. I love a turn of the century, like 19th, 16th, 17th century English. So I tend to use a lot of those settings in my prose works as well. So for me, it was a conscious decision. I wanted to go with that. And I just feel that when you're talking about nature, about the beauty of the night or the moon or, dusk, old English somehow tends to feel mellower. It tends to kind of go with the vibe of the poem. So that's why I went with that.
No, I'm glad I asked that question because even I'm sure a lot of people in the audience also
They
would be,
did. A lot
thinking
of
the
people
same.
have asked me this.
So
Yes,
yeah, I hope you understood why I asked you that question.
absolutely. And I'm so glad you did. You gave me a chance to clarify because a lot of people told me that we didn't enjoy the first part of the book that had too many heavy words. The second part we really liked. And the first
Okay.
part is my favorite. So I was like, I didn't get a chance to explain to everybody, of course, why. But yeah, this is the reason. It
Okay.
comes from a
Very
place of
nice.
love that I have for the old masters.
And there's something I would like to read from your book, and it is,
Please.
very true to today's times, COVID situation. And,
Uh-huh.
it just, it was very hard hitting, very simple words, but very hard hitting. I would like to read that
Yes,
with
yes.
your
Please
permission.
do. Yes.
When I am gone, when I am gone like the flames from my pyre, and I'm reduced to cinders and ash in the fire, keep me in the memory as a fond remembrance. Memories may last, life has no permanence. It is so true. It's giving me, those jitters even now saying it. But it is so, so true. What were your thoughts behind writing such intense lines?
Actually, I didn't write this with so much in mind, with not with COVID so much in mind, but I just wrote this because this is what happens to to people in old age. Uh, you think that you have a full life, you think that you have children and you have a purpose, but one day those children go away, and then you
True.
are left with just your spouse. And it's so important to build a relationship. In raising our children, we tend to forget that the spousal relationships are the most important ones, because when the nest is empty, then you suddenly realize there is this chasm between you. So keeping that in mind, I just thought how nice it would be that if there was a couple, who had bridged this divide, and who felt the same love for each other that they did when they got married. And if they lost a spouse, then what would that grief be like? So I
Correct.
was trying to portray that grief here, actually.
So let's not end the session with such sad, sad words. Let's cheer up and let's cheer up the audience also. I have no words. It has been wonderful, having you over. It's
Thank you
always
so
wonderful
much.
talking
Yes,
to you.
yes, it is.
And for me, my comfort level with you is very strong. So, I
Very
know,
strong, absolutely.
yeah, it goes across. Whatever I'm trying
Yes.
to, convey, you get the words.
Hmm.
So, Sonal, any last few words to the audience before we leave and wind up?
Ah, last few words. All I'll say is, don't be. See, I always believe that writing, or rather getting, becoming a published writer, it does not come from a place of bravery. Becoming
Hmm.
published comes from a place of deep fear. The fear of being ridiculed, the fear of being, not taken seriously, the fear of being dismissed as a nobody. All those things, keep them very close to your heart, because those are the things that you need to overcome. And once you know that you have overcome them, you know that your work is good enough to be put before a public, forum.
Yeah,
So, because otherwise anybody can be brave, but if you need to overcome the fear of being ridiculed in order to put yourself out there, and that is one reason why many people are not able to take that jump from being amateur writers to published writers.
correct.
So I would just say, embrace that fear and embrace your critics more than anything else, because these are the two
Absolutely.
factors that will help you become better in life, and the rest is God's will.
Like, true to life, very, very wonderful words coming from you because you have experienced it all, the entire journey.
Oh,
So
yes.
I'm glad it's come from you, and the audience has been so interactive. There are messages which you'll go through and respond
Thank you.
later.
Yes, I will.
And
Yes.
we just want to thank the audience for being there for us. It means a lot. And we look
Thank
forward
you
to
so
another
much.
session on Authors Corner next Monday,
Yeah, and on
same
that
time.
note, if Manojji is watching, I would like to interview you for this author's corner.
Manoj, we'll take it forward. Like,
Yes.
I'll not be so comfortably answering the questions.
Oh,
It's
please,
easier
Manojji, you're a
to.
natural. You're a natural. But then, Manojji, if you're watching this, so I'm volunteering to interview this Nisha Tandon. Huh?
Thank you so much, Sonal, for always stepping up, and thank you for coming forward today.
Thank you so
And
much for having
answering,
me.
because they'll say we want this conversation to be a heart-to-heart chat. It's not like
Yeah,
an interview.
that's how
Interview,
it should be. Yeah, of course,
Yes.
it should be like that. Yes.
So thank you
Thank you so
so
much
much
for
once
having me,
again.
and thank you everybody for joining in.
Thank you, everybody, and we'll see you next Monday, same time, same place. Keep
Yes.
watching. Thank you.